Good evening and welcome to the news at 18. To present the news, I am Agnes Walia. Let's take a look at the headlines. Lusaka male scammer caught napping for selling fake cooking oil. In other news, pharmacist clears the myths on sex boosters. And OIV calls on government to quickly address the high cost of living. And Lusaka DC calls for an end of discrimination against women. In other news, children describe ICDB as a great day for enhancing their media freedoms. And in other news, 95 Zambian students safe in Warsaw, Poland to be evacuated on Tuesday. Now the news in detail. In a failed scam attempt to sell water as cooking oil, a Lusaka-based male person of Kanyama Site and Service has received his fair share of what may be described as a baptism of his life as alert members of the public he attempted to scam opted to teach him a lifelong lesson. In a video making rounds on social media, the man is seen forced to drink the water-colored solution he disguised as cooking oil, which he priced at 100 kwacha. But this action is obviously against the laws of Zambia, which entails no one citizen should take the law in their own hands, but instead the offender should be reported to the law enforcers. Amphias Kaputula has details in the following report.
He is swimming in mud as part of a punishment for attempting to swindle some members of the public. With a 5-liter container of water disguised as cooking oil, he priced at 100 kwacha. This man of Lusaka's Kanyama Site and Service had a bad day at the office when he attempted to swindle some alert members of the public who caught him.
Atkanda 100 nkotosa tenzaona tumasafu mapesa kasadi njero zinga 100 ndio katenga ukashakinga uwe ni manzi njero mkamba wanamcha hapo so chabe wakwatu so iwe ulunayate omana tinilibe njero okay tiye za kupasa pasogo ndiye mwakwerera naye tinaenda kumayadi huko ati niwe ndani zinako yo
Jeffson
ungala kuti
Kanyama Site and Service
ni chani chiri umucho
manzi
ine wanuza tincha
sarati
mwa wafundisa manzi
bakulisira kuti
In a video that has gone viral on social media, the man was frantically forced to drink the solution before being forced to swim in mud.
So hapa punishment yani mpasa sini mumenya awe azayi mwache mshemushe kwa sida kumumenya tingapange milandu siza mchaya werelo so kenufunseko ine sembe na gura hivi napegera wa mlamu wako kunyumba sembe wanona bwanja ati ndine fontini juwa munga sina baduwe mu Lusaka unachokera kuti
As members of the public, be warned, quick and cheap buys may turn out into quick mistakes. However, according to the laws of Zambia, no one is guilty until proven guilty, or until such a person pleads guilty before a judge in the court of law. Therefore, such acts of punishing suspects should be avoided, as they may lead to assault or, in worst cases, manslaughter or murder. For Muvi TV News, I'm Afias Kaptula in Lusaka.
And a local pharmacist has described a sex booster called 7 hours being championed by some herbalists as a myth, which bent on attracting men's unrealistic expectation of lasting longer during sexual intercourse. Jerome Kanika says the duration of a sex encounter, has science agrees with, is between 5 to 10 minutes, and that anything longer than that is described as abnormal. Kanika says traditional sexual boosters have been reportedly linked to kidney and liver failure, as well as a prostate cancer among those in common. Mutumba Liambela has details in the following report.
Thank you. I think we need to understand one thing here to say we have a lot of people who are unscrupulous people who are swindling the members of the public by selling them fake herbal medicines to say that once they take they can last 7 hours in bed. I think that's not true. There is no any science that will tell you to say that you can last 7 hours with someone in bed. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. And from there, what is needed is the regulator, like Zambia Regulatory Authority, should truly come into norm so that these unscrupulous people who are selling all sorts of herbal medicines in our towns should be caged so that at least we can have some sanity. There is no way someone can tell you to say once you take this it will do this, it will do this, without any studies that need to be done upon that product. I think what we need to do very well is to make sure that we have things that are scientifically proven and things that we know that they are not toxic to the human body as compared to the way people may think otherwise. So my call is to both the local councils and also Zambia Regulatory Authority to move into action, swing into action, and make sure that they stop such acts that are coming from unscrupulous people who are swindling the members of the public concerning this sensitive matter. Thank you.
Now, Operation Young Vote OYV Executive Director Guest Nyirenda has appealed to government to consider reducing fuel pump price and to rethink its stance on monthly price adjustment and allow a wider consultation on the matter from energy experts. Speaking in an executive interview with the Muvi TV News, Mr. Nyirenda said the cost of living in the country is too high and it is the duty of the government to find a mechanism of reducing commodity prices. He has also noted a lot of people are hurting and starving for them to understand how government can be increasing fuel prices in such a manner. Caroline Mwanza has details in the following report.
As Operation Young, it indicates to government when they were changing the policy from the 60-day period to a 30-day period in terms of reviews. Now, even when they may have a genuine reason for them to adjust upwards, it's very difficult to appreciate that within a space of a month. Remember, just last month, there was a reduction of about 1 quarter from the original price, but again there is an increment of of 2 quarter, which again in essence means that they have increased twice. From the first time they increased, they reduced a bit, then they also increase again. That in itself is sending a signal that we have a problem. So the revision of the fuel pump price being done monthly is quite detrimental and will just bring confusion. So we appeal to the ERB, but also to government in general, to rethink that and change it and take it back to 60 days or even 90 days. It will work well because people need to plan. You cannot overnight, adjust. Then where are you leaving people's plans? You are leaving everyone's plan in disarray. Look at the cost of living. It's so high that just an adjustment of fuel means again, burdening the people beyond their limits. And this is unacceptable. I think we need to find a way of doing things right if we are going to deliver to the people of Zambia. A lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are hungry. A lot of people are starving and, life is unbearable. So if these things are going to be done just like this, it causes problems and people will not understand. But if it is done in a space of 60 days, we'll be able to understand. Even when you say, okay, it's a war in Russia and Ukraine, people will understand. But again, if you say it just in the space of 30 days, when you just reduce by 1 quarter, after increasing by so much, it becomes a little bit difficult to understand and appreciate.
Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu says there is need to end all forms of oppression and discrimination against women in societies. Speaking at the Women's Christian Fellowship MCF of the Matters United Nations in Zambia UCZ constituency on Sunday morning, Mrs. Zulu stressed the global work seek to see a society in which women and men recognizes the need to advocate for women's wealth as being equal to men, and to achieve a status in which both men and women experience the fullness of life without oppression or injustice. The event was held under the theme God's Equal World. On Tuesday, 8 March, the world will come together to celebrate International Women's Day. under the theme Gender Equality and a Sustainable Tomorrow. This is aimed at celebrating women's achievements and contribution to society and to advocate for equal opportunities and value. Liambela Mutumba has details in the following report.
Reflections of this year's YCL week are set in the global text in which the world seeks to see a more equal world among men and women. The word equality works well in mathematics with all sorts of signs and symbols to show how things equate and relate to one another, but not so to human beings. A critical conversation that is in the world today is the oppression and discrimination of women, which often leads to their abuse sexually, physically, emotionally, socially, and unfortunately, religiously too, even in church. When a woman preaches, a woman does something good, sometimes you find that people who murmur is not a good thing. The recognition of the International Women's Day, which falls on 8th March 2022, and the adoption of 5th March as an International Women's Day for prayer, is set in the context which women and men recognize the need to advocate for women's worth as being equal to men, and to achieve a status in which both men and women experience their fullness of life without oppression and injustice. But we still stand firm. Where you have not provided men, we do the best just to praise you. The Bible says a woman should always do what? A woman should always do what the husband. What are you supposed to do? You are supposed to love us.
We'll take a short break, and when we're back, we'll have more news, so stay tuned.
University College is enrolling students for the January-April 2022 intake in the following: School of Education, Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Education in Primary Education, Bachelor of Education in Secondary Education, Bachelor of Education in Special Education, Diploma in Early Childhood Education,
How's the response out there?
Primary Education, Diploma in Secondary Education, Diploma in Special Education, Certificate in Early Childhood Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Diploma in Public Relations, School of Hotel and Tourism, Diploma in Food and Production, Diploma in Front Office, Diploma in Food and Beverages Management, Diploma in Hospitality and Events Management, and Diploma in Sales and Marketing. For more information, visit us at Regent College along Kwazi Road or the North Mid Campus at plot number 11 Luamba Road, Lusaka, or call us on 0955 787114 or 0966 787114 or 0977 787114. Fairview University College. We aim at excellence.
Eastern Africa,
Delighted to add Lubumbashi and Goma to our network. Welcome aboard Rwandair, Africa's safest airline that will connect you to more than 24 destinations throughout the network.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Still in the news, welcome back. Now, Zambia today joined the rest of the world in commemorating the International Children's Day of Broadcasting (ICDB), with stakeholders calling on the media to give a meaningful platform to the children to express themselves. To commemorate the day, children from various learning institutions and communities took charge of the programming airspace of Muvi TV television to express the issues affecting their lives. Many of them who appeared on air for the first time have thanked the institution for according them the opportunity to express themselves. And the Media Network on Child Rights and Development, MNCRD, says this year's theme reinforces the need that children are both protected from abuse and safeguard against abuse within the media. Organization's Executive Director Henry Kawe says the media houses should assist from using decorative aspects of participation for financial gain, but help children develop their own scripts, news and other programs to highlight their issues. Media Institute of Southern Africa, MICA, in a statement has called on the broadcasting sector in the country to provide platforms for children to express themselves. This year's ICDB was held under the theme End Violence Against Children Through Safe Media. Details in the following report.
The International Children's Day of Broadcasting (ICDB) was created by the United Nations International Children's Education Fund (UNICEF) in 1991 to encourage broadcasters worldwide to create awareness for children issues and allow them to be part of the programming and presentation process. On Sunday, 6th March 2022, Zambia joined the rest of the world in commemorating the day under the theme End Violence Against Children Through Safe Media. Muvi television was full of children programming who delved into the topic of safe media through entertainment and debate. The children also shared their thoughts on the day.
My name is Tumelo Chisenga. I'm coming from Chiwombo Boarding Secondary School. International Children's Broadcasting Day, what I understand about this day is that it helps us to showcase and broadcast different views about society in the category of children, and also it doesn't only help us to broadcast, but it also teaches us and helps us learn how to control social media platforms.
My name's Griffin Kasonde from Chiwombo Boarding Secondary School, and what I understand about the International Broadcasting Day of Children is that it is a day that we, children or youth, are given an opportunity to showcase our talent and send a message that has not been heard because of our age and because of some certain incapabilities.
However, a visit by this reporter to Karingaringa compound of Lusaka revealed that among some children the day is unknown, but as it entails, children's issues should be highlighted.
nifuna nkangaleko mukali munga babla banda veni vija kutstandi zako vaboma kutugwira kwa mabuti majezi so today abeya bola batisa potako tumaunga tupeka kwa
For the Media Network on Child Rights and Development, the day calls for meaningful engagement beyond financial gain of children in broadcasting.
Should create a safe space for more children to express themselves to lay proper democratic foundation. Media houses, radio and television are urged not to use decorative aspects of participation, but help children develop their own scripts, news and other programs. We also thank all the radio and television stations that are hosting children today and wish to reiterate the need to do so on a continuous basis for the day to be a culmination of previous engagements.
For Muvi TV News, I'm Afias Kaptula in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, veteran journalist who is also former Zambia's ambassador to Ethiopia and former permanent representative Emmanuel Mwawa, has called for the protection of children's rights. Speaking when he joined the commemoration of International Children's Day of Broadcasting in Kasama, Mr. Mwawa says the Independent Broadcasting Authority (IBA) should ensure children's access to media content was safe and child-friendly. He has noted that some content in cartoons and educational material were disguised as children's content but really were not. Details in the following report.
Can damage some of the moral principles of children. So it's very important that we regulate what our children are watching, we regulate what our children have access to. Many, with the availability of smartphones, many people don't know that a child can go even to material that's graphic in nature, that is abusive in nature, and that's not friendly to a child. So it's incumbent upon us adults to protect the children in the content that we promote. And I would like to call upon regulators such as IBA, Independent Broadcasting Authority, to see how they can step in to protect our children, that the content that our children watch and is available to them is child-friendly. You'll be surprised that namakatuni ene pala if you bona there are evil things that they are implanting in cartoons. So parents, don't think that the child is watching a cartoon and it is safe. They are even introducing same-sex relationships in child content. So we have to be very alert as parents. Na mwewe ni mwemi sepela, ngawamone chole tamba, you quickly consult us adults. But can I watch this? Is this safe for us to watch? So that's how I interpret the theme this year, and I think that it is very appropriate for this year.
Now, in other news, the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy (MMD) has joined the debate of Zambia's vote at the United Nations UN Emergency General Assembly. MMD President Nevas Mumba urges the government was right to vote in support of a ceasefire motion in Ukraine to find peaceful means to end the differences between Russia and Ukraine. Dr. Mumba says the vote was in line with Zambia's foreign policy principles that are also enshrined in the United Nations and African Union Charter that are premised on respecting territorial boundaries of countries. The country is now waiting for a ministerial statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Relations, Stanley Kakumbo, on the government's position on the war between Russia and Ukraine. On Wednesday, 9 March 2022, following the heated and sustained debate on Zambia's UN vote to hold Russia accountable for the invasion on Ukraine. Amphias Kapitula has details in the following report.
Our position is that voting in favor of the resolution, in our view, was the right thing, based on the principles of Zambia's foreign policy, which we first formally codified in 1969, if I might add. The action by Russia itself has actually breached some of these principles. Amongst them, number one, the inviolability of national borders. Number two, the respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of states. Number three, the non-use of force or threat of force in the settlement of disputes. Number four, the inadmissibility of acquisition of territory by force. And number five, non-support for unilateral declaration of independence or illegal cessation of territory. Now, these principles are enshrined in the UN Charter and the Constitutive Act of the African Union, amongst others. So the UN has got within itself and within its framework established mechanisms for addressing disputes like the one which is taking place between Russia and Ukraine. including that of its security concerns, which Russia could have utilized rather than to take unilateral direct action.
Now, Lusaka Province Health Director Dr. Consisti Mwale has cautioned members of the public to exercise high levels of hygiene in their day-to-day activities. He says with the rain season still underway, it is imperative to be wary of waterborne diseases. Dr. Mwale says the Provincial Health Office is on the lookout for any outrising diseases. Virginia Chilongo has details in the following report.
To members of the public to ensure that they use safe water, and safe water can be treated at home through boiling, through chlorination, and by ensuring that whatever water is meant for consumption is put in a clean container and covered. Hand hygiene, whenever one visits the latrine or the toilet, or whenever the hands are deemed to be dirty, you keep your hands hygienic or clean. That will help us in the prevention of waterborne diseases as well as COVID. As you know, COVID-19 is related also to hygiene. Fortunately, we have not observed an increase in waterborne diseases within our province, and we urge members of the public to also focus on ensuring that the preparation of food is also done in a hygienic way.
Take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be back with more news, so stay tuned.
Anyone can get lucky.
Istana ya Afrika ya kupende chalo akamwana kanono nomsepela kwikala chapamo kuribe kumunzi kuribe mutauni kumadero.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news at Muvi TV. Now, Kasangula District Commissioner Elias Yambila has called on ward councillors and ward development committees in the district to embrace development agendas contained in the 8th National Development Plan. Speaking during a review of the 8th National Development Plan with district ward councillors and ward committee, Mr. Siambila says all developmental programs should be centered on achieving plans and aspiration of the document. He adds, government hopes to see a situation where constituency funds are utilized in manners that benefit citizens going forward. Mr. Siambila has noted the need for implementations of government programs to ensure development plans are undertaken with seriousness they deserve because people have high expectations from the UPND-led government. Now, Greenland Conservation Foundation, a non-profit young organization, held a conservation walk to sensitize the public and protect wildlife and limit human-animal conflict in Zambia. The events took place at Mukuni village in Kazungula district, which is one of the most affected areas in terms of human-wildlife conflict. And in a speech read on behalf of the Minister of Tourism, Rodney Sikumba, by Regional Tourism Development Coordinator Chilala Habasimbi, it has been identified that the problem of human-wildlife conflict in Zambia is huge and that this has resulted in many people as well as livestock being killed by wildlife animals. Mr. Sikumba says the numbers of people and wild animals that have been killed so far shows increasing trends, and it indicates that the human-animal conflict are indeed a huge problem of concern to the Ministry of Tourism. He further says one of the solutions taken to elevate the issue. Prudence Mutelo has details in the following report.
In a bid to enhance the fight against deforestation, wildlife trafficking and disposal of waste in an attempt to preserve Zambia's tremendous natural resource wealth, Greenland Conservation, which is a non-profit youth organization, had the initiative to have a conservation walk in Mukuni village. This was aimed at educating people of Mukuni village on human-wildlife conflicts. Speaking at the event was CEO of Greenland Conservation, who stated that the key focus of the organization is to protect wildlife and limit human-animal conflict in Zambia.
We have come up with another initiative called Conservation Walk. The purpose of this sanitation program is to further protect our wildlife and limit human-animal conflict in Zambia. This year we've chose to hold our event in Muvi village, in one of the most affected areas when it comes to human-wildlife conflict in Zambia. Today this event has been played by full-time human-wildlife conflict-centered activities which will concentrate more on educating people of Mukuni village on human-wildlife conflict. Indeed, I urge all of you today to hopefully integrate what you have learned during this course of the program today. And I believe that this will enable you to become engaged and also productive members of our society in attempts to end human-animal conflict in Zambia.
The walk was accompanied by the theme which is Save Wildlife and End Human-Animal Conflict. Speaking at the same event on behalf of Minister of Tourism and Member of Parliament Rodney Sikumba was Mrs. Chilala Habasimbi, who expressed concern on the increased human-wildlife conflict which has had a negative impact on wildlife conservation, community livelihoods and well-being. She said there is need for all stakeholders to join hands together in fighting human-wildlife conflict in Zambia, as there is still much work to be done.
Let us all tell our parents, brothers, sisters and friends to avoid wildlife conflict by keeping food away from animals, by keeping a safe distance from wildlife, and by learning about potentially dangerous species before venturing into their habitats. Let us create educative programs on human-wildlife conflict in our communities. We will always support the youth organization with a broader vision like Green Conservation Foundation, and we must all take responsibility for its success.
But the thing is that we've received a number of reports concerning human-wildlife conflicts, and we have also deployed our officers to help in scaring these animals and also to educate the communities on how they are supposed to live with nature. These are wild animals, they are not like domestic animals, so we need to avoid their confrontation.
Tunamujatisiye kutuyisia nzira ezo zitukozya ikuwakasya kunjira mu nyumba yetu. Mutwete kubatanda, mutwete kushita kuti batatujayo kambayo atujja kubiri.
The people of Mukuni village were not short of entertainment as they graced the occasion with some poetry and exquisite dances from Mukuni Kundu culture. Prudence Mutero reporting for Muvi TV News in Mukuni village, Kazungula district, South.
And in more news, Policy and Governance Center Executive Director Marriott Nyangu has urged government to tackle barriers to energy efficiency investment in order to unleash clean energy potential in Zambia. He says he is happy that Zambia set a goal for universal electricity access for all Zambians by 2030, but was quick to mention that evidence on the ground show that it is unattainable. Dr. Nyangu says Zambia's power demand focus by ZESCO shows a severe and immediate shortfall, and simply in the new mining and industrial loads begin to occur at the pace ZESCO currently expects. He said, and he called for greater efforts as government expects to bring online additional megawatts of solar, hydro and thermal power by 2030. Public policy and governance specialists note solar usage has remained relatively low due to the high initial cost that it is at a cost. Effective method for rural electrification, which helps improve access for all through development of the country, solar resource is still relatively slow. Liambela Mtumba has details in the following report.
With the potential that Zambia has in terms of renewable energy, we think, the new Don government will need to scale up, the policy space so that the new people that come in. Without that, obviously, we could have a lot of struggle in terms of meeting the needs of the people, energy for all and industrial need. So it's quite important that we really look at the policies that were in the past and correct what was wrong so that we actually can open up opportunities for more investments in the area.
And in more news, Lusaka Mayor Chilando Chitangela has lamented the failure by citizens to take part in the Keep Zambia Clean campaign, as she promises to put up signposts to show boundaries around Lusaka, Chongwe and Kafue. Speaking at Leopards Hill Community Hall meeting on cleaning the communities through a circular economy and turning Leopards Hill Road into a green belt, the mayor says there is too much waste and garbage around the country, citing Bauleni compound in Lusaka as the one that is most affected. And a member of Chambeshi River Headwaters Conservation Trust, Sandra Gillison, explains the issue of deforestation in the country, especially Forest 27 Reserve, is serious because it is interlinked with the needs of people such as those using charcoal and buying land for accommodation. Caroline Mwanza has details in the following report.
The Zambia Clean Awareness Campaign was declared by the late President Patrick Mwanawasa in 2007 that gave birth to the aim of improving the healthy and living environment for everyone to help communities and facilitate all villages, towns and cities clean. It is for this reason that the Lusaka Mayor Chilando Chitangala disclosed how Zambian citizens have failed to take part in the cleaning activities to keep the country clean. Speaking at Leopards Hill community meeting on making communities green again through a circular economy and green belt, she says there is too much waste and garbage around the country, citing Bauleni compound in Lusaka. Meanwhile, the Kablonga Ward 19 councillor Kosam Tembo says that authorities are working towards creating boundaries around Lusaka, Chongwe and Kafue to avoid conflicts of interest, something that has led to citizens encroaching on the Forest 27 Reserve.
They remain so critical so that they will give us an insight and on how we will be able to approach some of the challenges that are being faced by our neighboring community. So I think if we have a situation whereby our presentation of the challenges have been addressed within that area, then that will be able to be tackled by the seat of Lusaka.
Caroline Mwanza reporting for Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
You're still watching the Primetime News. We take a short break now, and when we're back, more news, so stay tuned.
They'll play a high press to force the mistakes.
They'll dominate the aerial ball. They're too tall.
We will handle the pressure and smash them on the break. The number 9 has scored in their last 5 games.
The passing will be quick, decisive, precisely.
There will be drama in the dying minutes.
This match will mean more than 3 points.
They will have the home ground advantage. This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. This is why I bet. Betway.
Fairview University College is enrolling students for the January-April 2022 intake in the following: School of Education, Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Education in Primary Education, Bachelor of Education in Secondary Education, Bachelor of Education in Special Education, Diploma in Early Childhood Education, Diploma in Primary Education, Diploma in Secondary Education, Diploma in Special Education, Certificate in Early Childhood Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Diploma in Public Relations, School of Hotel and Tourism, Diploma in Food and Production, Diploma in Front Office, Diploma in Food and Beverages Management, Diploma in Hospitality and Events Management, and Diploma in Sales and Marketing. For more information, visit us at Regent College along Kwazi Road or the North Mid Campus at plot number 11 Luamba Road, Lusaka, or call us on 0955 787114 or 0966 787114 or 0977 787114. Fairview University College. We aim at excellence.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Primetime News. Now more news. A research initiative named after Oliver Tambo, the distinguished South African leader and advocate of science and technology, has been launched in Lusaka. The initiative is an African partnership that is aimed to invest in research for excellence and transform the African research landscape. The Copperbelt University and the University of Zambia, UNZA, are spared the research in their areas of water conservation and in the environment. The research seeks to contribute to improving water management in the Upper Zambezi and Wapula River basins by creating knowledge on the quality and quantity of water streams and sedimentations in the basins. Professor Stephen Siampangi from Copperbelt University and Professor Imasiku Nyambe from the University of Zambia are the Otachi Tambo Africa Research Chairs Initiative. The duo was speaking during the launch of the Otachi initiative at Oliver Tambo Memorial House in Lusaka. Elias Chulu has details in the following report.
As UNZA, we have already started. We have already climbed to run in the shoes of Oliver Tambo. And we were looking at a number of challenges that our country has faced from time to time. So we know that in Zambia, agriculture, manufacturing, mining industry diversification, followed by tourism, are some of the challenges that we would like to address. Unfortunately, these challenges, developmental priorities that we need, they need water resources for them to drive the economy of Zambia. So our research, the conservation research, will contribute to the availability of water for irrigation, water supply and sanitation, hydropower generation, flood control, and food security, particularly with the advent of climate change and variability.
Zambia is a mining country with even more existing mining potentials. Currently, we are actually talking about only 48% of the country having been geologically surveyed. In other words, all these mines that you see in Zambia, we are actually saying about 52% of the country has not been geologically surveyed. For us, what it means is we actually have more potential to get more areas for mining. For a mine engineer or a geologist like Professor Nyambe, I guess he gets very excited because that is more money in the pocket for the country. But for someone with an environmental background like myself, it becomes some kind of a concern Because the more you mine, the more you open up the areas for either environmental degradation or pollution.
And in more news, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Stanley Kakuwo has disclosed that 95 of the Zambian nationals are safely in Warsaw, Poland, under government's care, and they are in high spirits and ready to be evacuated. He says 2 have been safely moved out of Ukraine but have opted to remain in Europe. 3 Zambian nationals are in Kharkiv and have opted to remain in Ukraine. He says out of the 14 students who were in the city of Sami, 2 are in transit in Lviv after securing private transport. Mr. Kakuwo, however, noted that following the closure of airspace over Ukraine resulting into airspace congestion in Europe-controlled zone, a lot of flight schedules have been gravely affected, therefore causing the departure of Zambian nationals to reschedule to Tuesday, 8 March 2022. Diambela Mutumba, details in the following report.
State the latest position as follows. 95 of our nationals are safely in Warsaw, Poland, and they are under government care. They are in high spirits and they are ready to be evacuated on Tuesday this week. 2 have safely moved out of Ukraine but have opted to remain in Europe. 3 in Kharkiv have opted to remain in Ukraine. And also out of the 14 students who are in the city of Sumy, the high-risk area of Sumy, 2 are in transit in Lviv after securing private transport with other foreign nationals. This means that 12 out of our students form part nearly of 4,000 of the 4,000 other nationals that are currently stuck in Sumy, including those from countries like China, India, Ghana, Nigeria, amongst others. Through our mission in Moscow, indications are that there will be a humanitarian corridor created by both the Ukrainian and Russian sides to allow for the safe passage of our students, including Zambians. For our nationals who may not arrive in Warsaw in time to catch the flight on Tuesday to Zambia, our diplomatic staff and also the honorary council will remain in Poland to provide assistance and arrange for their subsequent departure from Poland heading into Lusaka. The President took the opportunity to encourage and assure our children of this government's total commitment to evacuate them to Zambia, as well as to facilitate their return to Ukraine to finish their studies once the situation in Ukraine returns to normal.
And in more news, Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock has challenged fish hatchery operations to produce quality fingerlings in Northwestern Province. Acting Provincial Fisheries and Livestock Coordinator for Northwestern Province, Gelson Mwanza, has challenged fish hatchery operations in the province to produce quality fingerlings for the farmers to improve aquaculture production. Mr. Mwanza further assured the fish hatchery operations of government's technical support in providing alternative and sustainable livelihoods through supplying of quality fingerlings to the local farmers and beyond. The acting Provincial Fisheries and Livestock Coordinator was speaking during fish hatchery operations meeting held in Solwezi. The fish hatchery operation meeting is aimed at evaluating their performance and experience for 2021 and 2022 breeding season. Details in the report.
They have taken time from their daily routine of producing fingerlings. These are fish hatchery operators from various districts in Northwestern Province. They are here in Solwezi to attend the meeting. The meeting is aimed at evaluating their performance and experience for the 2021-2022 breeding season. Acting Provincial Fisheries and Livestock Coordinator for Northwestern Province, Gelson Mwanza, graced the meeting.
As Minister of Fisheries and Livestock Northwestern Province, we are highly encouraged by the increased number of farmers embarking on aquaculture production. You know, aquaculture is very important for Zambia. It's a source of income. That's why we are into fingerling production, because you want to sell and earn a living. So please, I would encourage you, use our officers. They have a role to play, you have a role to play. You have the resource, you have the land, we have the knowledge to give you. Our office is very open.
Frank Chihana is Northwestern Provincial Fisheries Officer.
Apart from the demand that we have, the 9.7 million, we're likely to go maybe up to 12 million fingerlings. But the question is, do we still have the capacity to produce?
Fish hatchery operators are motivated with the technical support from the ministry.
I just want to say thank you to the Fisheries Department here for arranging this meeting. As a new company, it's been very informative for us, being able to listen to experiences of other hatchery operators who've been in the business for longer and the challenges they faced, and also just learning in general from their experiences to help us grow.
Just asking if the government can help us as fish farmers here, because sometimes we are lacking some resources in terms of capitals.
For the Department of Fisheries and Marketing, the production of quality fingering and marketing strategies is key.
I think it has been mentioned that we're talking of quality fingerings. Why do we need quality fingerings? I think this is obvious. For our farmers to get a growth performance, the fish that they stock, quality fingering is key.
We need to realize that fish farming is a very profitable business, very lucrative business, if at all it's well managed. So as fingering producers, you are entrepreneurs, and as such, you need to run your activity as a business.
Aquaculture production is also part of agriculture diversification for the farmers to realize that farming is a serious business. Krivach Tuta, reporting in Soros District, Northwestern Province.
Now, 5 Dorcas workers were on 5th March 2022 enrolled in the Dorcas Society of the Mass Media Seventh-day Adventist Church after the meeting with the requirements of the society. Members have been under close supervision from the senior and pledged to support the society in the community work. Speaking after the event, Woodlands Conference Dorcas president encouraged the new members to uphold with high levels on their call of duty. Details in the following report.
Mass Media Seventh-day Adventist Church under Gofffield Mission District held an induction ceremony for Dorcas and Amo on 5th March 2022. The program ran under the theme, I Will Go. An induction ceremony is a time when members of the department renew their affiliation and commitment. The Dorcas and Amo societies managed to at least affiliate over 40 members and 5 new members. District Pastor Dr. Clement Molo, after charging the members, gave a dedicatory prayer. Meanwhile, Woodlands Conference Dorcas and Amo presidents had this to say.
It was really overwhelming. For the first time also at Mass Media SDA Church, for all information, Mass Media has at least a good number of men who have been inducted today, who are willing, and it was encouraging because they were both
together. The work will be easy, and I encourage them that the only way how they can be able to do this work is always to be prayerful.
Mass Media First Elder Chishala Malekano also encouraged the members to remain faithful to duty.
I've seen a lot of Amo and Dorcas renewing their commitment to the work of community service. So Amo and Dorcas, these are community service organizations. They give the members opportunities to serve the community, either be it prisoners, could be the orphans in the society, and all the vulnerable people.
Meboch Timbiti reporting in Lusaka.
Wraps up the news at 18, but before we go, we take a look at the headlines once more. Lusaka male scammer caught napping for selling fake cooking oil. And in other news, pharmacist clears the myths on sex boosters. And OIV calls on government to quickly address the high cost of living. And Lusaka DC calls for an end of discrimination against women. In other news, children describe ICBD as a great day for enhancing their media freedoms. And in other news, 95 Zambian students safe in Warsaw, Poland to be evacuated on Tuesday. To end the news at 18, I was Agnes Walia. And for me and everyone else in the studio, it's bye for now.